everybody. Today is July 2nd, and a year ago today I received a phone call about 90 minutes before news time that I knew would change my life forever, or so I thought. I had a CT scan the day before, and the doctor was calling to tell me I had a brain tumor. I didn't make the news that night. I told my bosses what was happening, and then I went home to tell Deke and start figuring out what I was going to do next. Life seemed to stop and be a tornado all at the same time. And 3 days later, I met with a brain surgeon and we made a plan. So there was still so much we didn't know about the tumor, but we did know I had a pretty rocky road ahead. And I was very lucky I didn't have to have surgery right away. I had time to literally get my affairs in order. But I'll be honest, I went down the rabbit hole quite a few times. But what brought me out was remembering the stories of the hundreds of people I had met who were going through things that were way worse than what I was dealing with. And they also shared with me something really valuable, that positive thinking and attitude is just as important as medical treatment. And I know now they were spot on. So I learned quite a few things that I didn't realize I would learn, but I learned, quite a bit in the last year. One of the things I've learned is being grateful isn't just a saying, it's a state of mind. And it helped me put a lot of fears to rest, and it opened my eyes to a different perspective. That included to stop focusing on the things I should have done yesterday or worry about what awaits me tomorrow. All I could think of was the next 5 minutes. And my favorite saying became, there are things you can control and there are things you can't control. And seriously, it's called the Serenity Prayer for a reason. You really need to figure out which is which and then go from there. All you have control over is what is in front of you and what you can physically do. Everything else, leave it up to the universe. And if you do that, it truly makes a huge difference. So, doing that took a lot of stress away, and it also helped me to focus on one thing or the task at hand, and it really was a gift. I guess that's why they call it the present. I didn't make my diagnosis public for about 3.5 months, and honestly, I never wanted to be a news story. And if I had my druthers, I probably never would have gone public, but it was the right thing to do. And the reason was I thought maybe I could help somebody else. So but meanwhile, I just kept going to work and I tried to keep my life somewhat normal. But each week I'd tell a few more people, and that was really difficult. But what I got in return is probably what's going to get me through the rest of my life. I truly had no idea how many people cared about me, and how many people cared about my family. And I didn't realize the power of prayer and positive healing thoughts really do make a difference, because I could feel it. I also didn't realize that the way I handled my journey might actually become somebody else's survival guide. I had no time for tears, and I'll be honest with you. The night I got that phone call, I lost it, for like 30 seconds. I wish I'm making that up, but I'm not kidding. But then something told me to snap out of it, and something told me get in warrior mode. And the hardest thing, and perhaps the most rewarding thing, was telling all of you what was happening in my world, what I was going through. I really thought if the universe was going to put me through this utter nightmare, the least I could do was create a little light by not only sharing my story, but using it to, like I said, perhaps help others, educate, raise awareness, whatever my story could do, because I told so many other stories, and that's what those people ended up doing. They raised awareness and their stories helped others, so maybe mine could too. I wasn't happy being stuck at home for 4 months, And on the days I had trouble getting out of bed because I was starting to feel sorry for myself, I remembered all of those people who had tougher roads than mine. They were getting out of bed, so there was no excuse for me not to get out of bed and get on with things. And I was thrilled that I could finally come back to work and get back on stage with the bands. I thought I would ease my way back into work, but the universe has a really sick sense of humor. I think it planned all of this so I could come back to work, and yay, a pandemic hits. So, how ironic, I was sent home again on March 23rd, and I have been now home for about 3.5 months. But hey, one thing my brain tumor taught me is that when things get dark and overwhelming, all you got to do is just focus on the next 5 minutes, and that's what I've been doing. So open that present, if you will. As for me, I'm still on that crazy brain train. The journey continues. I have MRIs every 6 months. They didn't get all the tumors, so we have to watch it like a hawk, if you will. But the 10-inch scar, the dent in my head, the 3 titanium plates I sport in my skull are a constant reminder that if I can get through brain surgery, a pandemic, and report and broadcast news from my home for 3.5 months, maybe I am a tough cookie. And maybe you're dealing with your own issues, or maybe you're just fed up with this COVID thing. Believe me, I totally get it. But like me, we all have to suck it up, and we all have to get into warrior mode to beat this thing. And warriors, by the way, a little shameless plug here, warriors wear masks, and especially when they're around strangers, and they also keep 6 feet apart, just saying. I saw a lot of pretty tough warriors in the OR just prior to my surgery, and they all had masks on. And they kept those masks on for over 9 hours. So I'm eternally grateful to a very awesome team of people who saved my life. And I want you to know that so did many of you. Because for those of you who just thought of me for an instant, maybe you sent a card, maybe you said a prayer, maybe you sent me an email. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because we are all connected, whether you realize it or not. We're all a big family, and regardless of where we came from or what the color of our skin could be, please, please be safe out there. Please be kind. Please be considerate. Please take care of each other. Because if I can get through all the nonsense I had to deal with, we can all make it through a pandemic with compassion and common sense. Thanks for listening. Have a healthy day, everybody.